Hi everybody. I wanted to make a video about my hopes for 2020 and my hopes for all of you in the year 2020. And 2020 is going to be dedicated first and foremost to unlearning helplessness. And I fully accept that if anybody can help you to unlearn helplessness, it would have to be you. Because the whole idea, learned helplessness is a psychological block. And there's nobody in the world that can help you unlearn that block apart from you. And not only do I want to offer you words of encouragement and just reiterate that you really deserve this after the narcissistic problems that you've had in your life, but I also want to offer a metaphor. A lot of us are prone to catastrophic thinking. And the reason why we're prone to catastrophic thinking is because narcissists, people that like narcissists, are prone to that sort of catastrophic thinking style. And so undoing learned helplessness involves deconstructing catastrophic thinking and avoiding this habit in the future. I'm here to offer practical advice, not ambiguous stuff, because the only sort of advice that you should consider is the kind of advice that changes the facts on the ground of your life. Okay, something that's tangible. And if you think of it, like catastrophic thinking is the sort of thinking, it could be very subtle, where you look at some sort of issue and you expound on it and you make it into a huge issue. For example, let's say you want to learn how to draw. In your mind, because of all of the negative conditioning from being around toxic people, you think, oh, Jesus Christ, I can't draw a line. How am I going to draw a painting? This is the sort of thinking that's you're locked into this sort of thinking. Or let's say you want to go back to school. You think, oh shit, it's going to cost me $30,000. Where am I going to find the money? So anytime you, in your mind, mentally assert something that you want, your mind flips a switch and starts catastrophizing. Let's say you are doing some sort of project at work. You think, oh my God, I have to do all this in 2 hours or else. How am I ever going to do it? So you take the main theme of this is you take a large problem like learning how to draw or learning how to dance or learning how to create your own business, and you catastrophize. You make it something that is so beyond you, so out of reach, and you automatically compound the problem by calculating all of the reasons why this is not going to happen for you. You think about past failures, you think and you highlight in your mind all of the ways that this can fail before you even consider how you can start doing it. And narcissists, if you've noticed, they always try to negate people's desires. So let's say a person wants to do something. They want to change their career at 40. The narcissist will be the first one in the room that will throw a bunch of daggers into that idea and catastrophize and say, oh my God, you can't do this. You can't leave a job with benefits for this job. What are you thinking? What are you doing? How are you going to save for retirement? So they create these sorts of panics in your head constantly. And if you're not surrounded by people that are not like that, it's very easy to take what they say on board because of the conditioning, that's the groundwork that's made up in your mind for this catastrophizing sort of thinking, catastrophic thinking. And so we end up building a wall in our head or thinking about a wall without constructing the bricks and taking the cement and putting one brick on top of another brick to eventually create a wall in front of us. So in order to avoid catastrophic thinking, you need to start thinking about your life in terms of bricks. And it's one very good metaphor to use. You can't think about how the wall will look without thinking about what sort of bricks you're going to use, what kind of cement you're going to use in order to create a foundation upon which you can create more bricks to eventually build the house that you want, or the skyscraper that you want, or whatever, the condominium that you want in your head. And so every problem in your life, including how you spend your day, needs to be constructed out of small tasks or smaller things that will eventually add up in order to create a larger thing that's more integrated, that takes all the small bricks and puts them together into one large and grandiose whole. That's the way your mind needs to work now. So don't minimize the bricks in your life. If you get up and you make a plan and you've put brick in place, then that's the avenue that you can take towards building this huge grandiose wall of success, of positivity in your life. So if there's one thing that I hope for all of you is to start thinking about your bricks. Like, what is the grandiose goal that you have in your life? It could be one goal or it could be 3 goals this year. And every single day, think of every hour as a brick that will get you towards that goal. And there may be sidetracks, slip-ups. Think about an architect. When an architect creates a building, they're thinking in large terms, but then they have to scale back and think about the minutia in order to build that skyscraper or that great house or that great structure. They can't think about the structure and be uncompromising in the way that they create that structure. Maybe the steel that they picked is out of stock. Maybe they can't get the right people to import the steel that they need. I'm not an architect. I'm just using a metaphor. You know what I mean? Life is full of surprises, and it's full of unexpected things, both positive and negative. But the important thing is that we can't take our attention away from the building of this great skyscraper that we have in mind. And it's your design, it's your baby, it's everybody's vision of success or vision of what they want their life to be is different, and it should be different. And we should have different bricks. We should have different scaffolding, because otherwise, think of a big city. A big city would be boring if every single building looked exactly the same. So all of us are architects, in a sense. And all of us need to think about our little bricks, about the scaffolding, about the materials that we want to use, about whether or not the floor will collapse if we add on more bricks at a particular angle. These are all minutiae that we need to incorporate within our everyday life if we hope to build our skyscraper. And if you're emerging from a toxic relationship, a lot of the time, your skyscraper was completely leveled. And that's okay, because now that you know what will level your skyscraper, you can rebuild that skyscraper upon the ruins. And that's what we need to think about in this upcoming year. Not stand in the rubble and contemplate the building that collapsed. We need to rebuild that building. And so, think of 3 priorities that you have by design that you want to carry into the next year. And write those priorities in your planner, on the left side of your planner and on the right side of your planner. Make like little lines, and in your mind, think of each line as a brick that will propel you towards that higher goal. And that's how you unlearn helplessness, where when you begin to see that there is a payoff. And that's another thing that the narcissists will do. They basically create the illusion that work does not pay off. Because they gossip about how other people don't like your work, or they find a way to convince you that your work is not worthy, or that some other person's work is more valuable. But the idea is to bring value towards your own vision and towards your own work, and to deflect any sort of opposition towards that fundamental identity. Otherwise, you will keep repeating the pattern of codependency. You will keep trying to find some sort of external validation for what you're doing on the day-to-day. And that's very damaging. Your real friends will support you unequivocally and vociferously in your everyday life. They will clap when you succeed. They will be upset when you fail. That's the bottom line. They will never question the fundamental vision of your life. And if you have any people like that in your life, it's time to get rid of them, because frankly, you can't afford to not get rid of them. because of the nature of narcissism and how it's perforated the most important areas of your life. You've seen what happened, and now you don't want to repeat that in the future. So that's all I have to say, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And I hope it wasn't a rambler, but I was just thinking about this. So, anyway, kisses.